Hi guys, good morning. Welcome to my channel. I hope all of you are doing very well today. The topic for today's session is data transform. In today's session, I'll explain you how to configure a data transform by going through a simple use case. Okay, so let's first understand what the use case is. So I have a case type called training. Let me open this. So as of now, let's focus on the stage called enrollments. So in the enrollment stage of this case type, a student will come, they will enter their details. Once they enter the details, they will be presented with the available training for that particular course that the user selects. And once the user chooses one of the options provided, we need to store that data somewhere onto the clipboard. Okay, so we'll do that with the help of a data transform. So let me run and show you the current behavior. So let's create the training case. Okay, let me enter some values. Let's give the name as Paramin. Let's give some location, some age, value, and a phone number. Okay, so this is the first assignment. The user will come. They will say, are you a new user? Yes. Then they will be asked to enter their details, the student details, and when they submit this assignment, so then they are presented with another assignment wherein they will be asked to select a topic. Let's take an example of Pega CSA. And once they select the topic, the schedule will be filtered. The schedule table will be filtered based on the topic. Okay, now there are two options available. There is a Pega CSA slot available, 8 a.m. That's a weekend slot. That means Saturday, Sunday. And there is also another slot available, which is 6 p.m. in the evening, and it's a weekday slot. So now the student will see that, okay, these are the two different schedules available. He need to select one and he need to proceed further in the flow. So at present, when the user selects any of these, right, we're not storing the data anywhere. So in today's session, I'll show you how to capture these data and store it somewhere onto the case. Okay, that is the requirement. And we'll be doing this with the help of data transform. So again, there are multiple options and multiple rules that you can do. You can implement this particular use case, but our focus will be data transform because I want to show you how do you use update page and property sets in the data transform rule. Okay, so let's get started with the implementation. So I hope the requirement is clear. So the requirement, again, I would like to repeat, we are going to copy the selected training schedule onto some page or property in our case, training case. Okay, that is a requirement. Let me show you the clipboard also. Okay, so if you see the clipboard, let's scroll down and see the PY work page. Okay, so under PY work page, I have a page called student details. This page will capture, this page will store all the details that the student has entered on the first assignment, like student name, location, phone, email, etc. Now, after the student picks one of the training schedule that he is interested in, so we need to store that under the student details page. So as of now, under student details page, you don't see anything, but after our configuration, we will come back and we will revisit the clipboard and see if the selected training details is being stored under the student details page or not. Okay, so let's get started. Let's open the flow and let's see the place where we will make the change. So I will click on submit enrollment, open process. So this is the flow action, select interested training. Let me open this. Let's open the section rule. Okay, so over here, so this is the table that will display all the training available. And based on the user selection, we need to copy the selected row into our case. Okay, so let's do that. So we will click on the table settings and we will be making use of a data transform to copy the data. Okay, so on the actions tab, you can add n number of action sets. Okay, so by default, when you create a table, these are the action sets that Pega adds. Let us also try to add a on-click action set. So we will be using a data transform, okay, to do this. So let me create a new data transform, copy, let's call it copy selected training. schedule. Okay, let's give it a meaningful name and create an open. So it will be creating in the class on which this table is basically. So it is on the data page, which is of this class. So that is why the default class is decor data training schedule. So let's create an open. For now, we will not add anything. Let me just save this role. Okay, to save the configurations. Let's come back. Let's save the table also. Okay, done. Now, let's understand the context in which this particular data transform will run, right? So at runtime, I will have n number of rows in this particular table. And the action set that we have configured is on click. So what it means is, whichever row you click, on click of that, our rule will run. So the runtime context will be the row which is selected. Now, we already have the data in the selected row. What we are trying to do is, we are trying to copy it into a new clipboard page. And that clipboard page, like I showed you earlier, should be under the student details. So let me go to the App Explorer. Let me show you the student details property that I have. So I believe it is in the work class only. So let me do that. Data model property. So this is the student details page, okay? If I show you, this is the existing student details page, which is pointing to another data type. Now, inside this student details, I need to have another page that will store my selected training schedule. So let's create a new property, okay, under this student details class. So let's right click on the data model, create property. Let's give a meaningful name, selected training scheduled. Okay, create and open. It will be of type page because we are going to store more than one property, single value properties. And what would be the class? So the class for this would be our data table class. So let me submit this. So here you see it, right? There is already a data page that I have created, d underscore training schedule per topic, and this is being created on a data table called training schedule. Let me show you that also. So training schedule is the data type from where the schedule related records are displaying on the UI. Okay, so this is the data that we were showing on the UI in the form of a table. So the new property that we will create, that will be pointing to this particular class. Okay, it's a page type of property, and the page definition will be our data type. It stores the schedule. Okay, let's save it. Now we are done with the property creation. Now let's go back to the data transform. Okay, let's add a step. So since this is a page copy, so for that Pega provides us this update page option. So we'll use this. So let me quickly try to explain what these options are. So set is a simple data transform action using which you can set the value of a property. So whatever property you want to set, you will give it in the target, and the source will be from which the value you want to put. So it can be static value or it can be a dynamic value by using another property also. So that is about the set action. Now, cancel this. Let me quickly explain. So what is this? So this basically is a remove action using which you can remove the value of any property. Okay, so that is the remove option. Then comes the update page. So update page is the action set using which you can copy the details from one page to another. So this works like the page copy method in the activity. Okay, next we have a apply data transform. So if you want to call a data transform from another data transform, so you use this action set and you give the data transform name over here. So if you want to sort the values in a page list, then you can use, so if you see, right, this sort action will take a page list property. So let's say I have a page list with 10 records and I want to sort the page list based on a property. So for that, you give the page list name over here. And if you click on the settings icon, it will allow you an option to add the properties on which you want to sort. Okay, so this is about the sort action set. Similarly, if you want to comment, you can use this comment. This rule will not be executed. This is more from a understanding perspective. So when we add meaningful comments, right, anybody else who opens this tool and who wants to understand what exactly we are trying to do in this particular rule, so that comments will help them. Okay, that is the purpose of comment action. Then if you want to write a when rule, and based on the when rule, if you want to have some logic, so for that you can use the action set called when. So you can add your when rule over here, and once the when is true, you can define what all you want to do. Okay, so that is about the when. Similarly, otherwise when and otherwise is in the similar category. If you want to have a if else or otherwise logic, so for that we use these action sets. Now coming to append to and append and map to. So append to and append and map to, these are used in terms of page list properties. Okay, so we have to be very careful when we are dealing with page list. So we can go with append to and append and map to, and we are dealing with pages, we can go with update page. These are the differentiations that we need to do. So append to and append and map to. So how this works? So when you select append to, so it will basically copy the entire page list from the source to the target. So in the target, you need to give one page list, and in the source, you can give a new page or an existing page where you need to keep the page name over here, or you can give the current source page, or you can loop on any other page list property. And what so basically it will append a new page from the source into the target page list property. So that is the purpose of an append to method. Now append and map to, for this, if you want to map specific properties, right, from a different page list to some other page list, so then you use append and map to. So I'll be trying to create separate videos by giving examples of these append to, append and map to, because these are, I think it will be more clear by going through a scenario. Okay. Okay. So this is a brief about all the action sets in the data transform. Now let's focus on our use case. Okay. So let me again switch back to update page. Now what will be the target? So I already have a page called student details, which is sitting under my PY work page, and I want to store the newly selected training details or under that student details page. Okay, so I need to have a PY work page. Let me define this actually, otherwise at runtime it will have, but at design time it will not get the rule context. So let's define the PY work page as okay. So PY work page dot student details dot the new property that we have created. Okay, so this will be the path of the newly created page and from where we want to store the values. So in our case, since we are already running in the context of the table row, so primary page will have all the data that we are trying to copy. Okay, because if you see the table, so we are calling the data transform on every row, every selected row of this table. So that means the primary page will already have the selected details. So I can just add primary as my source page. And now let us set the properties that you want to copy. So let's give the topic. Okay. Let me quickly add all of the properties that I'm trying to copy. Duration. Dot. Weekday or weekend batch. Okay, let's save the role. Let's go back to the table and let's see what we have configured. So we have added an action set on the table. So on click of any row in the table, we will call a data transform. What this data transform will do, this data transform will copy the details from the primary page on which this data transform will run, and it will set all these values from the primary page into a new page that we have created, which is selected training schedule under the student details page, and it will map all these properties from the source to the target. Okay, so this is with respect to the configuration. Now let's test it. Like we create the case. Let's let's enter some values. Okay. Okay, so let's choose Pega CSA and we have two options. So whatever we select, that should be stored in the clipboard. So let's take this second one. So I will be selecting Pega CSA weekday batch at 6 p.m. Okay, so let's select this and submit. Now let's check the clipboard. So let's expand the PY work page. Under PY work page, we have our student details page. So this is the details that I entered on the UI. And then let's see if a new page gets created or not. So under student details, I have another page, which is selected training schedule. And under selected training schedule, I can see that all the details that was there in the selected row, that is getting mapped to. Okay, so that means our code is working correctly. So this is how we use data transform to copy data from one place to another. Okay. So I hope this session was helpful. I hope I was able to explain the basic usage of a data transform to copy data from one page to another. Again, data transform is a very vast topic and there are different action sets that you can use. So I will try to make more videos on data transform specifically so that all the important and most used action sets are covered. For today, this is it. Thank you so much for listening in. I hope you like my content. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and stay tuned for upcoming videos.